Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the moment you've all been waiting for. Episode number 11 of NWA Chicago. All In. So if you recall, we began the series in episode number 1 with NWA New Blood to celebrate the revival of the National Wrestling Alliance. We then followed it with 9 episodes of Main Event Showcase, which led to All In. Let's go over the card really quick. It is an absolutely stacked card. Let's start from the very top. We have the champion, Nick Aldis, the national treasure, versus Cody for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in a career versus championship bull rope match. Then we have for the women's title, Kaylee Ray taking on Tenille Dashwood. Kaylee Ray is the defending champion. Dashwood has been a thorn in her side ever since she came to the National Wrestling Alliance. For the tag team titles, we have the champions, Scott Steiner and Petey Williams, facing a mystery team that Billy Corgan has announced will be facing them as repercussions for their vicious attack on the Havana Pit Bulls. We have a television title match. We don't know who it will be yet, actually. I'll tell you. We have a television title match. It is a rematch of Joe Hendry versus Tyler Bate that just happened this past Friday on Main Event Showcase. Tyler Bate wants a rematch, and Joe Hendry was willing to give it to him. We also have a women's #1 contender battle royal, which will be kicking off the show, as well as the Sons of Michigan versus Matt Cross and Sammy Guevara in their hatred blood feud, which will be settled in a street fight. Then, our semi-main event, one of the biggest matches in independent wrestling history, is the big guy takes on the hardcore legend Rob Van Dam, Mr. Monday Night, Mr. Tuesday Night, Mr. Thursday Night, Mr. Friday Night, whatever you need to call him, because tonight he is Mr. Tuesday Night. So without any further introductions, I think it's time to go all in. We begin the show with our women's #1 contenders match. And in a terrible match, Toni Storm wins the #1 contenders battle royal in 13:54. The other members of the final 4 were the alpha female, Ivelisse, and the debuting Tessa Blanchard. Alpha female being the final elimination, also eliminating the most contestants in this match. So we wanted to bill alpha female as still the very strong female on the roster. She eliminates the most people. She is the runner-up to Toni Storm, the hero, who just barely beats out the alpha female. And then obviously, it's important that in the final 4, we have Ivelisse, because Toni Storm and Ivelisse have a bit of a rivalry going. And Tessa Blanchard, who debuts, I believe that Tessa Blanchard is also going to be one of the building blocks of this division. We also have the debut of Leia Vandale in this battle royal, otherwise known as Carmella from WWE. I have absolutely no idea what I want to do with Leia Vandale, but I wanted to put her in this match because she is a very over woman, and I wanted to at least give them a little bit of a rub from being with someone who was in the WWE and is very over because of that. Long term, don't know what we have planned for Vandale, but I am excited to have her. She was off her game in the match, so was Mischief. Tessa Blanchard debuted. The match got the show off to a strong start. 35 E+, decent, better than kind of what I expected this match to be. Toni Storm is the last woman standing, as alpha female goes ballistic at ringside. She's throwing around equipment, she's pushing cameramen. She's obviously not very happy that she lost the #1 contenders battle royal to Toni Storm. 36 D-. Toni Storm is the #1 contender. In a poor match, Matt Cross and Sammy Guevara defeated the Sons of Michigan in a street fight in 9:40 when Matt Cross defeated Benjamin Boone by pinfall with a death from above. So a quick street fight. I didn't want it to be too long. I'm pretty sure I had it be a car crash match because, you know, Sammy Guevara and Matt Cross, they can do those high spots, those a lot of spot things. So 41 for Cross, 33 for Guevara, 34 for Boone. I'm actually very happy with that. And a 25 for Matson. This match got the crowd buzzing, which I'm very happy about. 37 D-. Good match from them. Cross and Guevara win the feud here as Cross pins Benjamin Boone. Perform better? Yeah. These guys all aren't hardcore guys, so this is basically what I expected from them. but they still performed very well for it being a hardcore match. And now, Flip Gordon is walking backstage when he runs into Scarlett Bordeaux. Bordeaux says, "Oh my god, aren't you Flip Gordon? I've seen all your matches, and you are my favorite wrestler." And Gordon says, "Awesome. It's always great to meet a fan. What's your name?" And Scarlett Bordeaux says, "My name is Scarlett Bordeaux, and I'm not just a fan. This is my first night here. I'm on the roster now, and I was hoping you could give me some pointers and help me with my in-ring work." And Gordon says, "I'm glad to. Come with me and let's get started." 33E Plus, Scarlett Bordeaux debuts alongside Flip Gordon backstage. Interesting things could happen there. The plan is to have Scarlett Bordeaux and Flip Gordon manage each other for matches, because Scarlett Bordeaux is very good in terms of her on-camera qualities and her microphone work. Flip Gordon, because you could use a little bit of help there, and I feel like they could be an interesting pairing. 33E Plus, I'm happy with that. The debut of Scarlett Bordeaux. In a terrible match, Joe Hendry defeated Tyler Bate in 12:42, once again, by pinfall with a freak of nature following interference from Pete Dunne. That would be a bitter end from Pete Dunne, was the interference. Joe Hendry makes defense number 1 of his NWA World Television title. 27 from Hendry, 31 from Bate. Bate was really off his game again. I don't think Bate likes working with Joe Hendry. Might be the thing. 28E. It's not a chemistry thing. I think he might not just like Joe Hendry, which is very interesting. But Pete Dunne cost Tyler Bate the NWA World Television title rematch. And then after the match, Joe Hendry rolls out of the ring with his championship belt. Pete Dunne slides back in with a microphone. Tyler Bate is sitting in the corner, with his arms on the bottom ropes. Dunne gets on his knees, and he gets right in Tyler Bate's face, and he says, "You look surprised to see me, Tyler. You had to know this was coming, and I'm here to make your life a living hell." He lets out an evil laugh, grabs Tyler Bate, stands him up, hits him with another bitter end in the middle of the ring. 39D-. Pete Dunne has come to NWA Chicago to make Tyler Bate's life a living hell. The Natural Enemies fight forever. These guys are so fucking young, but so good. They're literally going to be the rivalry of the next decade, in my opinion. If they can keep their careers together, they're going to be the better version of the John Cena-Randy Orton rivalry that dominated most of the 2000s. Most of the late 2000s, at least, and into the 2010s. I like these guys. These guys are definitely 2 cornerstones of the new NWA. In a decent match, the Motor City Machine Guns defeated Steiner and Williams in 16:07 when Alex Shelley defeated Petey Williams by submission with a Border City stretch. The Guns win the World Tag Team titles. 52D+. Very happy with that match. They obviously had excellent chemistry teaming together. Match got the crowd hotter. They both performed to a 57 level. They're by far the best tag team I have on the roster now. Scott Steiner got a 40. Petey Williams got a 35. The Motor City Machine Guns come in and on their first night win the NWA World Tag Team titles. Oh my goodness, I am so happy to have the Guns on my roster. So I've been thinking about bringing in the Motor City Machine Guns for a while. This was kind of the plan for All In. I didn't know how to build to it, so it was actually kind of convenient that Rocky Romero got hurt because their title match was supposed to be so close to All In. I was debating whether or not to have a tag team title match on this show. There were other names, obviously, that have floated around as potentials for fill-ins here. The biggest one being Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix. But Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix, I feel like, are too high profile to bring in the tag division I have right now. They would just be by far and away better than everyone else. And I'm not saying that the Guns aren't. The Guns clearly are by far and away better than everyone else on my tag team division. But I feel like Phoenix and Pentagon are just on that next level. Plus, it comes down to a money thing. I was able to sign these guys for both for less than $1,000 an appearance, where Pentagon himself wanted almost $2,000 an appearance. So, in the end, I think I made a very good decision bringing in the Guns. Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley stand tall in the ring, holding their NWA World Heavyweight Championships up high. And after celebrating, they head to the back. Steiner and Williams are in the ring together. They shake hands, and Steiner raises Petey Williams' hand. But then he pulls Petey Williams into a clothesline. Steiner sits on top of Williams and pummels him. He's just beating down on him in a melee before standing up, picking up P.D. Williams and hitting him with a Steiner screwdriver in the middle of the ring and walking off. So Scott Steiner turns on P.D. Williams. You had to see it coming. P.D. eats the fall. Scott Steiner's not happy with that. Scott Steiner goes into business for himself and leaves P.D. in the middle of the ring. 46D. Here comes the sad news for some of you maybe, as this is most likely P.D. Williams' last appearance in NWA Chicago. Not for any behavioral or financial reasons, just this was almost the entire reason why I brought P.D. Williams into NWA Chicago in the first place, was to team with Scott Steiner so that I could have someone to transition the belts to from Rob Terry, and I don't even remember who Rob Terry was teaming with. They got released immediately after New Blood because I did not like either of them. I like P.D. Williams, but I don't really have a plan for P.D. Williams, so this is most likely P.D. Williams' last moments in NWA Chicago, at least for the time being. 46D, happy with that segment. Now, moving on. In a bout that had fantastic heat and good wrestling, the big guy defeated Rob Van Dam in 21-51 by pinfall with a silverback attack, 66 C+. Great match for these guys. 48 for Rob Van Dam, 69 for the big guy. I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. I expected this to be my best match in the saves so far, and I'm pretty sure it is by far the best match I've had in the saves so far. Expectations were high with these guys. That's why you have to pair these two guys together. Aside from Aldis and Cody, even without Aldis and Cody, these two guys are literally the top two most over guys in my company. Somehow Rob Van Dam is ahead of Big Guy, despite Big Guy being in the 60s and Rob is still in the high 40s, low 50s. But Rob is just such a recognizable name that we put the Big Guy over him here. Awesome match. Very happy with it. Next segment. The Big Guy grabs a mic and he says, "Rob, I barely broke a sweat. You were supposed to be a legend in this business. You are clearly past your prime. You know who isn't? Nick Aldis and Cody. Whichever of you leaves Chicago with that championship tonight, you're my next target. And I'm coming for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship." 83 B+ for the Big Guy, who worked very well without a script, improvised fantastically. The Big Guy sets his sights on the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Oh, the possibilities are endless with this dude. Fantastic. Very happy with that. The Big Guy calls his shot. Now we move on to the Women's Championship match. In a bout that had decent wrestling but little heat, Tenille Dashwood defeated Kaylee Ray in 13:03 by pinfall with a Michinoku driver to Tenille Dashwood wins the NWA World Women's title. So I'm a little surprised by this. Kaylee Ray had a performance of 43 and Tenille only performed to a 39. I thought Tenille was going to be the better performer here and outperform Kaylee Ray, but it's Kaylee Ray that outperforms Tenille Dashwood. That is a little bit eye-opening for me. 43D for the match. Very happy with that for a women's match. Very happy with that for any match, really. As Tenille Dashwood wins here. As planned, this match brought the crowd back down a little bit, so we wanted this one to be a little bit slower. You got the heel winning. You want to get her some good heel heat. Slow down the match. Have the fans be very angry at how slow this match was, but also calm them down after that huge Ryback versus Rob Van Dam match. I know I called him Ryback. It's just easier than constantly referring to him as the Big Guy. I'll refer to him interchangeably with those words. But the It's All About Her segment has advanced and gained heat. With this, I'm not sure if it's going to advance much more. But 43D for Tenille Dashwood. She takes the World Women's title. And she grabs the World Women's Championship and microphone after the match. And she says, "And now, there is no doubt, NWA Chicago, it's all about me." And then she continues to celebrate. 39D-, Tenille Dashwood. Bravo. Bravo here. You deserve it. She was never used to the fullest of her abilities in World Wrestling Entertainment, so I'm happy that they released her, and I'm able to bring her into NWA Chicago and give her the push that she deserved in the WWE. And now it is time for the main event of the evening. In one corner, the national treasure, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the Dealer, Nick Aldis, putting that prestigious title on the line against the legacy, the career of the Prince of the NWA, Cody, in a bull rope match, a good old-fashioned NWA special, a bull rope match for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship here in Chicago at All In. Now let's go to the match. Fingers crossed. In about that, a good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Cody defeated Nick Aldis in a bull rope match in 23-21 by pinfall with a silver spoon DDT. Cody wins the NWA World Heavyweight title. Nick Aldis seemed off his game. The match got the crowd hotter. But obviously, you got to put the belt on Cody here. Cody's 62 performance, Nick Aldis 56. Cody's one of our best performers. He's one of the best performers in the business, in my own personal opinion. 62C for the match. I'm happy with that. I was hoping that we might be able to get a B-. I'm still happy with a C. It was very good. It did not live up to the RVD big guy match, but at the same time, did we really expect it to? I kind of didn't, because I knew that Ryback was so much more over than both of these guys. But I'm still very happy with it. Cody wins the NWA World Heavyweight title. He keeps his career. He wins the title. He becomes the first ever second generation NWA World Heavyweight title holder. Hell yes. Cody, good for you. After the match, Cody stands in the ring victorious. The referee removes the bull rope from his wrist. Brandy rolls into the ring with the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. They hug in the middle of the ring as Cody holds up the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Confetti rains down. The crowd gives Cody a standing ovation. He deserves this. The Prince of the NWA is now the champion of NWA Chicago. The show ends with Cody in the middle of the ring. He's got the NWA World Heavyweight Championship above his head and Brandy at his side. 57 C-. Brandy underperformed, unfortunately, but that's alright. The angle got the crowd hotter, and that was a great way to end All In. I am extremely happy with this match. Things went just about how I expected them to go, if not better. So for this show, I think... I honestly think we might have gotten a C- for this show. If we didn't get a C-, we at least got a high D+. I am very happy with this show. Regardless of what the rating is, I know it's going to be pretty damn good. And I very much enjoyed this show, so let's see it. 65C! Oh my god, better than I had even hoped. Oh yes, this show increased our popularity in 18 regions. We did it, guys. We put on a C-level show. We put on a C-level show without rating top indie talent. That was one of my goals, was to make this company fantastic without it just being week in, week out. Cody, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Pentagon Jr., Phoenix, Brian Cage, Jeff Cobb, Matt Riddle, all the top indie guys, getting Okada on a loan, Marty Scurll. I wanted to try to build my own brand, not go off of a ton of stuff that's already out there. We built the women well. We had 2 women's matches on this and only 1 championship match. Granted, one was a number 1 contenders match, but we're starting to use women a lot better. I am so happy with this. I kind of take each event that I run, not the TV shows, but the events, as kind of a point of reflection. Reflect back on all the TV that built to this and the state of the roster now. I also think that at the end of each event is going to be somewhat of a purge point for me, where I purge some of the guys that I'm not going to continue using on the roster, bring in new talent, try to keep it fresh. So there may be some faces that you will no longer see on the show. That is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So in terms of like top indie guys that I used in this show, I don't consider personally Ryback a top indie guy. You barely ever hear about Ryback anymore, honestly. Rob Van Dam, you don't really hear about him anymore. The Guns, Alex Shelley just retired, which I'm really sad about. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, they're both on their way up to being top indie guys. I don't think anyone in the Battle Royal is really a top indie person. I mean, you do have Carmella, who was in the WWE, Toni Storm, Tessa Blanchard, they're well-known indie females. Tenille Dashwood and Kaylee Ray aren't really top indie talents. Cody and Nick Aldis are probably the two closest on this card to what I would consider like top indie guys. And Cody obviously is the top guy on this roster, even though it doesn't show in that screen where it tells me my top most over people. Cody should be at the top of that. He's not. I think that's egregious that Ryback and Rob Van Dam are ahead of them. I get it, though. They were in WWE for a while. Ryback was in WWE more recently. Rob Van Dam is fucking Rob Van Dam, so he's got to be at the top of that list. But I'm so happy with this. It increased our popularity in 18 regions, 65C. Thank you guys for going on this journey with me. And now we're going to continue building to our next event. So I will see you guys at the TV screen to see how our viewership did here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I know this is not our viewership screen, but it is something that I wanted to check out, and oh my gosh, I'm so proud. This speaks for itself. Our show rating for All In was on pace with SmackDown's show rating. Obviously, as I told you guys in a previous episode, WWE is on the downturn in this world, in this save. They have fallen to cult size, but they only got a 65C with all this talent that was on the show, and we were able... They had Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker on this show, John Cena on this show, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns. They had all this over talent on the show and only got a 65C, and we got that same rating with such lower, less over, less well-known talent. I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of NWA Chicago right now. But now let's get into the actual screen. Alright, so NWA Chicago All In was obviously held in the NWA Arena in Chicago, Illinois. I chose not to hold it in the Sears Center because, obviously, look at our attendance. 2,306 fans. There is no way we're going to come close to selling out the Sears Center. I wanted All In to be an NWA Chicago thing. It's not the actual All In. It's not... To me, NWA Chicago's All In. This is part of the NWA Chicago. This is part of our story. The actual All In that's going to take place that sold out 10,000-seat arena... When it was first announced, I believe it wasn't supposed to be any sort of canon event. It was just supposed to be a fun indie show that happens. But now you've got the NWA World title on the line. You've got so much build for that it's becoming a canon event for the NWA, which I really think is cool. But I think originally it was just kind of supposed to be like the biggest indie house show of all time, where there's not going to be any titles changing hand, where there's not going to be anything super duper important that goes down. It's just going to be a really fucking awesome indie show. But I digress. 65C, very happy with that. But here is the big thing. So I actually changed our events deal with ESPN to on demand instead of graveyard shift. So that requires us to get a D- for each show for the network to be happy, and we surpassed that, and on television we got a .07, 55,590 viewers. That is more than double our highest viewership so far. I am so incredibly happy about that. I may actually look... So I had a plan. Post All In, I was going to move Main Event Showcase to the on-demand time slot, as well as expand it to 2 hours. ESPN is unwilling to expand me to 2 hours, but I think I will still look to go to that on-demand time slot so that we can get more eyes on this product and grow faster. I'm so happy with the results of All In. I hope you guys are happy too. I do this for you guys, to entertain you guys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the stories that I built. Hopefully you guys will enjoy my stories going forward. Hopefully you like everyone I'm using. Hopefully you don't hate what I'm doing here. But I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much. I told you each event is kind of a reflection point for me. And looking back at these now last 11 episodes, I want to thank you guys for all the support you've given me. It's been awesome. And I want to thank you guys for watching. And I will see you for the first episode of Main Event Showcase in the build to our next event.